Alabama folk singer is dead after she was attacked by a pair of coyotes.
What is the monkey doing? Tell me what the monkey...
He hit your face off!
We actually have a trainer in the water with one of our whales.
If I show weakness, if I retreat, I may be hurt, I may be killed.
Baby Azaria Chamberlain was taken by a dingo back in 1980.
Ooh, boy. Hey, everyone. I left the window open in the little recording studio that I have at home just to air it out a little bit, you know. It's pretty hot here. And, I gotta tell you, the downstairs neighbors, they're ripping cones. They are ripping bongs all day long. It's weedy up here. That's what I've got. I've got a nice weedy smell. It's actually quite unpleasant. I don't like it. Can I get a contact high from the downstairs neighbors' weed? I'm not a big weed guy. I enjoy it every now and again. I'm kind of like Louis C.K., not in the masturbatory way, but he talks about his drug use in the fact that he never, ever, ever does it. I'm like him. I never do drugs. I don't do drugs. So that when I do, it's really good. Yeah? Really good. And I feel like maybe it's a placebo. Maybe I'm tricking myself into it. I don't know, guys. I feel like I'm getting a little toasted today, a little toasty. I'm a little toasty Jim. But we will push through because this is the only time I have all week to record a podcast, so I have to get it done. It has to happen. You guys need your content. I'm your little content slut, aren't I? Yeah, you know, you're my little content slut. That's right. I create the content and you suck it all up, don't you, you little skank? Oh, God. This could be the worst intro I've ever done, but I'm too toasted and too high. I'm Stone Man to re-record it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Man. It is the only true crime podcast on the entire freaking internet where all the killers are real animals, whether it's biting, scratchings, maulings, or clawings, or goings, because we're talking about that today. We're here to talk about it. I'm your host, as always, Jimby, aka Big Papa Plump, aka Jim Bass, aka Jimbalaya. And today, we're talking some bullshit. That's right, we're talking shit about bulls. I don't know if I can call the podcast episode bullshit. I think maybe Spotify and Apple will take it down because it's a naughty word. But we're talking bulls today. That's right. I don't think we've talked really about bulls before, like the classic bulls. I'm not talking bulls like buffalo. I'm talking bulls like male cows, like cows with willies. The cows where if you milk them, milk doesn't come out, but it's a little bit like milk. It's like it's thicker. Maybe I'm just really tired and this is just bad. I really do feel like that marijuana wafting upstairs is it's affecting me, but we're gonna power through anyway. One other thing, guys, this is episode 120. This is 121. 120 was where we wanted to get to at the end of last year. We were a little slow, but that technically would make this like, I guess the first episode of season 4. So that's cool. So as such, as a celebration, got some new segments coming in, some old segments making a return, and some segments rotating out, including the grids, the Man-Eaters grid that we've been doing for about 6 months. That is now, I'm not going to do that anymore on this podcast because it really does work better when you can see what's going on. So there is a video version of the Man-Eaters grid coming out every week over on the Patreon. I've been doing that for a while. There's been a video version for a while. Now, with the added benefit of seeing my ugly face doing it. Yeah. I recorded one the other day and I realized, just maybe it was the lighting or the angle of the camera, I have like a weird, like, wrinkle crease in my forehead that is becoming more and more prominent, and it really looks like it's just from me doing like a silly face over and over again. So if you want to see that, head over to the Patreon. If you're only into this show for the grids, patreon.com/maneaters. It's only $5 a month and you can get as many grids as you like. There's a backlog there so you can go watch those. All right. on to the main story, as I mentioned in this incredibly odd intro. Today we're talking bulls, we're talking blood, we're talking rodeos, we're talking broken bones, we're talking crushed dreams, we're talking broken spirits. I want you to sit back and relax as we talk about bulls, blood, and all the other things I mentioned before. All right. For thousands of years, humans and bulls have shared a relationship defined by awe, necessity, and danger. From the dawn of civilization, bulls have been symbols of power, fertility, and defiance, forces of nature that we have sought to tame, honor, and at times battle. Our bond with these beasts is one woven into the very fabric of human history, and yet it has never been one without risk. In the fields, bulls have been indispensable to human survival. As early as 8000 BC, humans domesticated the ancestors of modern cattle, turning them into vital partners in agriculture. Their strength plowed our fields, helping us to feed growing populations and to lay the foundations for cities, empires, and indeed entire civilizations. The bull became a sign of prosperity. Its image was carved into temple walls and woven into ancient myths. But strength like this cannot be controlled without consequence. That very same power that made bulls indispensable to farming also made them incredibly dangerous. An enraged bull is an unstoppable force of nature, one that has claimed many lives throughout history, whether in the quiet pastures of a medieval farm or in the modern industrial cattle yard. Beyond the fields, bulls took on an even more mythical role. Across cultures, they became symbols of strength and divinity. In ancient Crete, Minoans practiced bull leaping, an acrobatic spectacle where humans danced with death, vaulting over the backs of charging bulls. The Romans, never ones to shy away from a good blood sport, used bulls in their gladiatorial games. And in Spain, the art of bullfighting emerged, part sport, part ritual, all danger. In these arenas where men and beast meet in battle of skills and survival, the risk is always real, and the bulls do not always lose. Even today, bulls command fear and respect. Rodeos pit cowboys against them in contests of endurance. The running of the bulls in Spain seeks thrill seekers sprinting for their lives through narrow streets. And as history shows, some have paid the ultimate price for their daring and their miscalculations. In this episode, we're going to explore some of the fatal encounters between humans and bulls, the moments where raw power and human ambition collide with deadly results. From tragic accidents on farms to high-profile deaths in the bull ring, we're going to unravel some of these stories of those who have fallen to these mighty creatures. Because when you stand before a bull, there is no room for error. Now, throughout history, thousands of people have met their deaths at the tip of a bull's horn or at the bottom of a bull's hoof. Today, we're going to talk about just a few of the most noteworthy ones. And starting off is Victor Barrio. Victor Barrio was a Spanish bullfighter who died at the age of 29 when he was gored in the chest by a bull named Lorenzo at the Teruel bull ring. Barrio, along with Curo Vasquez, Morenino de Aranda. I'm just going to tell you, by the way, there's going to be a lot of mispronounced Spanish names here. Barrio, along with Curo Vasquez and Morenito de Aranda, were featured on the bill for the Vaquilla del Angel, which translate to the angel's heifer, the angel being the city's patron, the holy guardian angel. These celebrations occurred on July 9th, 2016 in Teruel. Now, at this point of his life, Barrio was only 29 years old. He was given the third bull of the afternoon, Lorenzo, a 529-kilogram beast from Los Manos Ranch, who would ultimately be Barrio's final encounter with a bull. Unfortunately for Barrio, Lorenzo delivered a deadly goring to Barrio, thrusting a horn deep into the bullfighter's chest. Barrio passed away only a few minutes later. The bullfighter died quickly after Lorenzo's horn pierced his right lung through his axilla, ruptured his thoracic aorta, and caused significant blood loss. Barrio was the first bullfighter to die in Spain in over 30 years. The entire event was broadcast live on television across the nation. Now, Barrio's remains would return to his birthplace, and the local sports centre was transformed into a chapel of rest, a place where one could pay tribute to the deceased. The authorities, bullfighters and enthusiasts were among the large number of people that attended Barrio's funeral. Now, many anti-bullfighting and animal rights activists released statements after Barrio's passing that may have been illegal, prompting the Fighting Bull Foundation and Victor Barrio's family to file a lawsuit against what they deemed to be defamatory and slanderous statements. For example, Barrio's family filed a complaint against Vincent Belenguer, a teacher who allegedly wrote on his Facebook page that he hoped all of Barrio's relatives would die. A corrida honoring Barrio was held at the Valladolid Bull Ring on September 4th, 2016. Here we go, here's some good names for me to mispronounce. Jose Padilla, Jose Tomas, Morante de la Puebla, Julian Lopez Escobar, aka El Juli, Manzanares Hijo, and Alejandro Talavante killed the bulls, which were provided by the ranches of Juan Pedro Domic, Nunez del Cuvillo, Zaludendo Domingo Hernandez, and Victoriana del Rio. At the Valdemorillo building, whose main gate Barrio had been carried through, shoulder high as both a matador and a novillo, a plaque was dedicated in 2017. A title honouring the bullfighter was adorned with the wings of a guardian angel, and that was also unveiled at the Terrell Bull Ring. At the Great Gate in Las Ventas, a ceramic mosaic honouring Barrio was installed in 2021. Now, our next victim that we're going to talk about was Ivan, or Ivan, I'm not sure. I'm going to go with Ivan Fandino. Ivan Fandino was another Spanish bullfighter. He died when a bull named Provechito gored him during a bullfight at the bull ring in the south of France, less than a year after fellow Spanish bullfighter Victor Barrio met the same fate. Ivan Fandino's death was one of the most shocking tragedies in modern bullfighting, not just because of the fatal injury itself, but also due to his reputation as a fearless and highly skilled matador. His career had been defined by taking risks, facing the most powerful bulls, and making a name for himself in the profession steeped in both tradition and controversy. The fatal event took place in France, in a town known for hosting annual bullfighting festivals. Fandino, an experienced and respected matador, was performing against a bull named Provechito, bred by the respected bull ranch of Baltazar Iban. During the fight, he executed a pass with his cape, but miscalculated and tripped over the fabric. The brief loss of balance proved disastrous. As he fell, the bull, weighing over 500 kilograms, took advantage of the opportunity and gored him with his horn, striking him in the right side of his torso. Now, unlike some goring incidents that result in non-lethal injuries, Fandino's wounds were severe. The bull's horn pierced his lung, causing extensive internal damage. Immediately realizing the gravity of the situation, Fandino was carried from the ring by assistants and emergency personnel. Reports say that he was being rushed to the hospital, and as he was doing so, he muttered, "Hurry, I'm dying." This heartbreaking statement would be among his last words. Despite the best efforts of medical teams at a nearby hospital, his injuries were too severe. He was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. He was only 36 years old. Ivan Fandino had built a career of courage and skill, earning a reputation for taking on the most dangerous bulls in major arenas across Spain, France, and Latin America. Born in Spain in 1980, he was not from a traditional bullfighting family, making his rise to fame even more impressive. Unlike many bullfighters who have long family lineages in the sport, Fandino had to fight his way to the top, proving himself in lesser-known arenas before earning a chance in Spain's premier bull rings. His breakthrough came in Madrid's Las Ventas, where he gained widespread recognition for his daring performances. In 2014, he achieved a rare and prestigious feat, fighting 6 bulls in a single afternoon in Bilbao, something only the most skilled and respected matadors have attempted. This moment cemented his status amongst the elite. Now, unlike some matadors who favoured a more conservative approach, Fendino was known for taking extraordinary risks, sometimes getting dangerously close to the bulls in an effort to achieve an aesthetically perfect and emotionally intense performance. He was willing to confront the most challenging bulls, including those bred by bull ranchers known for producing aggressive and unpredictable animals. His death sent shockwaves through the bullfighting world, with fellow matadors, aficionados, and fans mourning his loss. The mayor of Erzulatort and various bullfighting— I'm so bad at pronouncing these places, I'm so sorry— and various bullfighting organizations paid tribute to his contributions to the sport. Fellow matadors, including Jose Thomas and Enrique Ponce, expressed their sorrow, acknowledging both his skill and his tragic fate. Fendino's passing also reignited debates over the ethics and dangers of bullfighting. Critics of the sport pointed to his death as another example of the unnecessary risks faced by both matadors and bulls, while supporters of it saw it as a tragic but noble end for a man who had dedicated his life to the tradition. Today, Fendino is remembered as a brave and passionate bullfighter, one who lived and died in pursuit of the dangerous art that he loved. His funeral was attended by numerous bullfighting professions and fans, marking the end of a career that had thrilled audiences but ultimately cost him his life. Lane Frost was another person killed by a bull in the pursuit of athletic excellence. Unlike Fendino and Barrio, though, Lane was a bull rider, not a bullfighter. Frost was an American professional rodeo cowboy who specialized in bull riding and competed in the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association. He was the 1987 PRCA World Champion bull rider. He was also the only rider ever to score a qualified ride on Red Rock, the 1987 PRCA Bucking Bull of the Year. That all means nothing to me, but if you're into this sport, I'm assuming that's very impressive. Frost joined the PRCA and began riding full-time after graduating from high school in 1982. In 1984, he qualified for his first national finals rodeo. In 1986, he won the NFR bull riding average title. In 1987, he became the PRCA World Champion bull rider at the NFR at age 24. He went on to compete at the Rodeo 88 Challenge Cup, held as part of the Cultural Olympiad in association with the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary. In his lifetime, Frost made it to the NFR for 5 consecutive years from 1984 to 1988. Now, Lane was killed in a bull riding accident that is so infamous that it actually has its own Wikipedia page. This event is now infamously known as the Last Ride. On July 30th, 1989, Frost drew Taken Care of Business, a Brahma bull owned by Bad Company Rodeo is it Cheyenne or Cayenne? Cheyenne? I think it's Cheyenne. At the Cheyenne Frontier Days Rodeo. There's a lot of cool names in that sentence, damn. The bull's name was Taken Care of Business. That's incredible. It was a cold and rainy day, so mud had accumulated on the arena floor. At 3:30 p.m., Frost and the bull departed chute 7. Frost then rode the bull for a full 8 seconds, scoring 85 points. However, Frost dismounted awkwardly, landing in the bull's sides. The bull then stepped on Frost's chaps, hooking him in the back with his right horn. The horn did not penetrate Frost's skin, but the impact was severe enough to cause serious internal injuries. He then rose up and motioned to his lifelong friend Tuff Hederman for assistance before crashing face first into the muddy arena floor, puncturing his heart and his lungs. Frost was transported to Memorial Hospital and pronounced dead at 3:59 p.m. He was only 25 years old. There was no autopsy performed. It was claimed that when Taking Care of Business drove Frost into the mud, the bull's full body weight was on one point of his horn, fracturing some of Frost's ribs and severing one of his main arteries. Frost's funeral took place on August 2nd, 1989, at the First Baptist Church in Otaka, Oklahoma. An estimated 3,500 individuals attended. Following the service, Frost was taken to Mount Olivet Cemetery in Hugo, Oklahoma, where he was buried alongside his longtime mentor, Freckles Brown. That's another great name. Man, Freckles. That's a cool nickname. Prior to the terrible events in Cheyenne, protective equipment was optional, with riders only wearing it if they believed it was critical for their safety. Cody Lambert, Frost's friend and fellow bull rider, helped design the protective vest that all professional bull riders must now wear while competing. In 1994, a movie titled 8 Seconds was released. It starred Luke Perry as Frost, and the movie dramatized Frost's life and even included showing moments from the Cheyenne Arena that showed his last moments on Earth. Going back a little bit in history now, we're going to talk about Captain Richard Brooks. Richard Brooks was a distinguished sea captain, and he played a pivotal role in maritime history, particularly in the expansion of British influence across the oceans. His career, marked by daring voyages and skilled navigation, exemplified the adventurous spirit of the age of exploration and commerce. Throughout his life, Brooks not only contributed to the development of maritime trade, but also left a lasting impact on the regions he encountered. Now, Brooks' early life remains somewhat obscure, but it is clear that he developed a keen interest in the sea from a young age. Like many of his contemporaries, he likely began his maritime career in the merchant navy, gaining experience and navigating treacherous waters and managing ship operations. His ability to command vessels with efficiency and precision earned him a reputation as a competent and reliable captain. One of the most significant aspects of Brooks's career was his involvement in the transportation of convicts to Australia, a practice that was instrumental in the establishment of British colonies. Little side note, that's how my family got here. We were convicts, and they stole a loaf of bread or something, and they're like, "Great, sick, gonna send you to what they thought was a hell on earth. Turns out it's the best fucking country ever, mate." All right. Anyway, during the late 18th and early 19th centuries, Britain relied heavily on ships captained by experienced mariners like Brooks to transport prisoners to the penal colonies. Penal sounds like penis, and I've always found that funny. His role in these voyages underscored the challenges faced by seafarers at the time, including unpredictable weather, disease outbreaks, and the ever-present threat of mutiny. Beyond his contributions to transportation and trade, Brooks also played a part in the early Australian settlement. His presence in New South Wales, which is where I live, facilitated economic interactions between settlers and Indigenous communities, shaping the colony's development. Historical records indicate that Brooks acquired land and engaged in agriculture, further solidifying his influence in the region. His activities reflected the dual role of sea captains in the area, not only as navigators and traders, but also as pioneers in new territories. Despite his accomplishments, Brooks's legacy is not without controversy. As a participant in the transportation of convicts and colonial expansion, his actions must be viewed within the broader context of British imperialism. The impact of European settlement on indigenous populations was profound and often detrimental, raising questions about the ethical implications of his contributions. Nevertheless, Richard Brooks remains a significant figure in maritime history. His ability to command ships across vast distances, facilitate trade, and contribute to colonial infrastructure, they highlight the importance of skilled seafarers in shaping global history. Whether viewed as an ambitious pioneer or a representation of an imperial system, Brooks's story is a testament to the complex interplay of exploration, commerce, and conquest during that time. Now, Brooks was described by his daughter, Christiana Blumfeld, in a letter dated 20th of January 1828 as, quote, "a nice-looking old gentleman of 65, hale and very active for his age. He was 6 foot high when a young man, and I dare say very handsome, but he now loses some of his height by stooping. He is a very affectionate father, and I believe particularly fond of me." In another letter dated 15th of March 1831, Christiana wrote that her father had, quote, "been very ill from the effects of an accident occasioned by a wild cow running at him while on horseback and goring him in the calf of the leg, while returning from one of his journeys to his cattle stations in the interior. The confinement from such an accident has injured his health, and he is weak and rather inclined to be hippish." Richard Brooks died from the bull wound on the 16th of October 1833. He was buried in a vault at Denham Court. The Church of St. Mary the Virgin was later built to enclose the remains of Richard and his wife Christiana, who died on the 12th of April, 1835. Many other notable people have been killed by bulls, such as famous botanist David Douglas, whose death is actually considered very suspicious. The story goes that Douglas died while climbing a mountain in Hawaii at the age of 35 in 1834. He apparently fell into a pit trap where he was mauled to death by a bull. However, some people think that he may have actually been murdered by Ned Gurney, a bullock hunter and escaped convict, as he was last seen alive at Ned's hut, and apparently he had been carrying quite a lot of money. Others say he was murdered by 2 native Hawaiians, but there is no evidence proving that he was not killed by a bull. Other famous people killed by bulls include architect Jeffrey Lupton, politicians Almedo Morales and Rolf W. Moss, historical figure Marciano of Toledo, and rodeo cowboys Glenn Keely, Mason Lowe, and Brent Thurman. The stories we've explored here today remind us of an undeniable truth. When humans and beasts collide, the outcome is never certain. Across history, from the blood-soaked sands of the Colosseum to the modern-day rodeo arenas and bull rings, these powerful creatures demand respect, and at times have taken their revenge. Now, for some, the risk is worth it. The thrill of the fight, the spectacle of the arena, the centuries-old tradition, bullfighters, rodeo riders, and thrill-seekers stepping into the ring, knowing full well that one wrong move could be their last. They chase victory, legacy, and the fleeting moment of control over an animal that is, by its very nature, untamable. But as history has shown, the bull does not always lose. From the tragic end of Victor Barrio to the fatal misstep of Ivan Fendino, to those crushed in rodeo arenas, to the thrill-seekers trampled in the streets of Spain, these are the stories of human ambition, courage, and sometimes a fatal miscalculation. And they remind us of the fine line between bravery and recklessness, between tradition and cruelty. And maybe that's why we remain captivated and disgusted, because when man and beast stand face to face, there are no guarantees. There's no safety nets here. There's just instinct, skill, and the raw power of the bull. And guys, that's my wee little summary of the history of people getting fucked up by bulls. We talked quite heavily there about bullfighting, rodeo and that kind of stuff, but particularly bullfighting in Spain. I know that's a controversial topic, particularly for people like us. We're talking about animals. We love animals, I guess you're sitting there going, I wonder what Jimmy's opinions of bullfighting are. And I think they're probably a little bit more complex than you might be expecting for an idiot like me. Personally, I do think it's cruel, and I do think it is probably an outdated practice. At the same time, I'm really hesitant to chime in on other people's cultures, because oftentimes, it's not my culture. I don't know. I shouldn't get to say it. But I do think there are people in those countries that also find it pretty archaic and out of date. So it wouldn't surprise me if bullfighting goes the way of the dodo and sort of dies out and is replaced by robots. Oh my God, can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine? That is a... Okay, so last week we came up with the idea of a man-eater movie about a polar bear, and then this idea of robot bullfighting. Good God, we need to start a production company, guys, and start producing these films or TV shows. I love that. All right. Well, we're going to take a little break now. We'll rest our little voices because some of us have been talking for a while. Some of us have really been carrying this conversation on our shoulders. I'll be completely honest. You haven't fucking chimed in once, Claudia. You bitch. Imagine if someone's name is actually Claudia and she's listening and she just gets called out like that. That's fun. I'm sorry, Claudia. I love you. I love you, Claudia. You're my little content slut. Okay, let's take a break. Go and do a wee. We'll be back with the rest of the episode on momentality. Listen to some ads. Buy some stuff. Capitalism, baby. Well, you know what time it is, guys. We're back, and it is time for the Scratch of the Day. Really don't like how I said Scratch of the Day then. If I could take that back, I would. I mean, I can. I'm recording. I don't want to go back and do it as much as I'm lazy. So anyway, let's talk about 5 really interesting animal stories from the last couple of weeks. Our first story, this one happened yesterday. A kayaker has survived being swallowed by a humpback whale in Chile. This is a genuinely wild story, and it was a pretty wild video when I saw it. A 24-year-old, he's understandably been shaken up by what is, in all intents and purposes, a near-death experience, and the best part of it is it was all captured on camera. So this guy's kayaking in the ocean of Chile off the coast, and just a fucking humpback whale just breaches and just swallows him whole. It's biblical, guys. I've got an article here from Sky News. I know, Sky News. It says, why can you trust Sky News? I don't, but there's a video. I don't know how they can lie about this. Okay. A kayaker has said that he thought he was going to die when he was swallowed by a humpback whale. Adrian Simicas was off the coast of Chile in the Strait of Magellan when it surfaced and gobbled up his yellow boat. His father, who was nearby in another kayak, captured the incident on camera. I thought I was dead. For some reason, I've decided he speaks like Sean Connery. I thought I was dead, said Mrs. Simicas. I thought it had eaten me, like it had swallowed me. You guys didn't know I could do that impression, did you? Neither did I. Luckily, the whale released him after a few seconds, and the camera captured his father telling him, stay calm, stay calm. The dad also sounds like James Bond. The 24-year-old kayak said he was still worried he could perish in the freezing waters. That's a good point. It's freezing out there. Like, the hypothermia is a big issue. When I came up and started floating, I was scared that something might happen to my father too. That we wouldn't reach the shore in time and that I could get hypothermia, said Mr. Simonicus. The father and son both managed to get to shore safely after Saturday's incident. The Strait of Magellan is a major tourist attraction in Patagonia, about 3,000 kilometers from the capital, Santiago. There is a video here. I've watched it before, but let's watch it. You can listen to it. Boom, whale just comes and scoops him up. He's just gone. Yeah. It's crazy the dad doesn't react any faster. It's just like, there's a good 3 seconds where just the guy's gone, and the dad just doesn't say shit, and he's like, hey, come back, por favor. Crazy story. This is a once in a lifetime story. We've had stories of whales breaching and like landing on boats and killing people. There have been stories of whales, rising up from under the water and knocking, paddleboarders and surfers off their boards. But I can't remember a story where a whale has actually swallowed, or I guess swallowed isn't the right word, but gulped a person inside their mouth, held them there, and then released them. This is one of those fears that you have when you're a child. I swear when I was a kid, I thought that being eaten by a whale was a much bigger deal than it turned out to be in my adult life. Same thing with kidnappers. I was constantly told I'd be kidnapped. And same thing, I guess, with quicksand. I really thought quicksand was going to be a much bigger deal than it really turned out to be. And same with whales swallowing people. But I'm glad that he survived. And I'm glad that we've taken this time to do this story because it's made me realize that it's really fun to do like celebrity impressions. Maybe we'll do that from now on. Today's Sean Connery. So in all of our stories, we'll do a Sean Connery voice. I slapped that whale silly. It was a female whale. You're allowed to slap a female whale. If it's attacking you, you should slap it. That's a joke about how Sean Connery used to beat women. Hilarious, right? Really great. Okay, speaking of hilarious, or not really, there was a bunch of monkeys missing, but luckily they've all been found now. This actually happened a couple of weeks ago. A bunch of monkeys escaped. They were like research monkeys, and there were 4 still on the loose, but they've all been returned now. So we're going to read this. This is from the BBC. They've all been returned now. Don't worry. We can keep experimenting on the monkeys and shooting shotguns full of makeup into their face and rubbing acidic shampoo into their backs. Is fine. The final missing monkey of a group that escaped from a South Carolina research facility has been captured and returned, according to local police. More than 3 dozen monkeys escaped from the primate research facility last November after a keeper left their pen open. Oh, that's a silly goof. The Yemassee Police Department confirmed in a social media post that all monkeys have now been returned. Greg Westergaard, CEO of Alpha Genesis, which runs the facility, told the media that the final monkey was returned safe and sound. During their escape, the 40, that was the perfect quote for him. Jesus, safe and sound. During their escape, the 43 monkeys, all young females of the Rhesus macaque species, stayed close to the research facility. Soon after they got out in November, the monkeys appeared to be in good health, dancing and running around in the trees, according to the Yosemite Police Department, which has been providing regular updates. All monkeys All monkeys recovered previously continue to be in excellent health, still feasting on peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, as well as monkey biscuits, CEO Westergaard said in an update. What's a monkey biscuit? That sounds yum. Monkey biscuits are the nickname I come up for my nuts. My partner does not like that. When they were on the loose in part of the state known as Low Country, Alpha Genesis breeds primates for medical testing and research, and according to South Carolina's newspaper, the Post and Courier, animals have broken out of the facility 2 other times in the past decade. In 2016, 19 monkeys escaped before being returned about 6 hours later. 2 years earlier, 26 primates escaped. The town of Yemassee, 60 miles southeast of Charlton, has a population of fewer than 1,100 residents. The Animal Welfare Institute requested the U.S. Department of Agriculture investigate the research facility following the most recent update. There you go. I'm glad they've been returned. I mean, it's not great for the monkeys. They probably would have a better time, swinging around in the trees and dancing and eating monkey biscuits rather than being, experimented on. But hey, it's science, baby. So yeah, that's awful. I feel so bad for these monkeys. But you can't have a fucking 1,000 monkeys running around. The town has not that many people. It's got less than 1,000 people in it. Oh, wow, that would be cute. We could shut it down and every resident gets a monkey. Maybe when I run for politics later in my life, that'll be my platform. It'll be like, I'm not changing the taxes. I'm not doing anything to progress social issues. Immigration, don't ask me. Every citizen gets a monkey. That sounds like a great way. That's a great way to either improve a country immeasurably or destroy it really quickly. It could go really either way. All right, monkey men. We have an aquarium death. Very sad. And it's raising some questions. This aquarium is in a mall, which is very strange. It's a very American thing. It's in Texas, so that might explain it. An animal death at a West El Paso, Texas mall aquarium raises concerns. An inspection report has revealed troubling conditions at Jungle Reef, an aquarium located inside the shops at Solana Mall in West El Paso. Anyone in El Paso listening? Let me know if this is a good place to go touch some stingrays. According to the report, in November of 2024, a parakeet named Claire died without receiving medical care. Why is there a parakeet in an aquarium? Maybe it died because it was in the water and that's a bird. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's most recent inspection, dated January 7th, highlighted several alleged failures at the facility, which has been open for just over a year. The report detailed that the facility manager chose to isolate the injured parakeet overnight in another room, leading to its death. Other findings from 2024 inspections include the death of a 9-month-old female Bennett's wallaby named Jupiter, who was crushed by a gate, oh my god, and an adult budgie that died 3 days after a health decline without veterinary intervention. Get these animals a vet, Jesus. Additionally, a lemur named Zebu showed signs of stress due to a lack of refuge space and stimulation. If I was Zebu, I'd be stressed as well. I just saw my friend the wallaby get crushed by a gate, and my wife the budgie died from AIDS, and no one helped. Attempts to reach Jungle Reef owners John and C. Hempworth for a comment were unsuccessful. John Hepworth, initially agreed to an interview, but did not respond to further contact attempts. The USDA reports also note a lack of enrichment, inadequate refuge, matted fur, insufficient veterinary care, and improper separation of species. Jungle Reef, which allows visitors to interact with animals, was criticized for interactions that endangered animals' health. Joshua Brown, who visited the aquarium on a field trip with his daughter, expressed concerns about the lack of staff and attention to both animals and visitors. Sean Connery. There just seemed to be a lack of staff. a lack of attention in general to the animals and to the people in and out of the facility, Brown said. He added that while the facility initially seemed like a great idea, the absence of supervision during interactions with animals is concerning. Social media reactions to Jungle Reef were mixed. Some visitors expressed sympathy for the animals and called for the facility's closure, while others reported positive experiences enjoying activities such as feeding birds and stingrays. Enoch Kimmelman, owner of the shops at Solana Mall, said he was unaware of any violations. They are quite conscientious. Animal husbandry skills are excellent. They do a great job. It's between them and the USDA. They just leash the space, Kimmelman said. I think Kimmelman is doing a great job of keeping track. That's crazy. It does seem like this place needs to be shut down. If anyone lives in West El Paso and wants to go to the shops to do a little site inspection for me, can you guys go to the Jungle Reef Touch Aquarium and see what's going on? Sounds awful. I don't think this place is going to be open for very long. So if anyone wants a free stingray, you might be able to get it for cheap. Yeah. All the comments are saying, close this place down. Yeah, it's terrible. Everyone here seems like an asshole, except the dad who just was complaining. Like, yeah, the people running this place who disappeared, also, like, the owner of the mall seems to just be not taking the situation very seriously either. Maybe this is a dickhead of the day. Or maybe it's our next story, which is this one, a West Memphis priest accused of animal cruelty. Oh, God. This is bad. West Memphis priest accused of animal cruelty involving cats. Okay. There's an update. I'll read the update at the end. Okay. A priest at a church in West Memphis, Arkansas, has been arrested in connection with a case involving two cats who police say appeared to have been drowned, city officials said on Tuesday. Officials did not name the priest, but Charles Thressing, a 63-year-old, is listed at the Crittenden County Jail log, charged with 2 accounts of aggravated cruelty to animals. Thressing was arrested on Tuesday. On February 7th, West Memphis Animal Control received a video regarding the incident. West Memphis police obtained a search warrant for Thressing's property and found evidence of animal cruelty. Police found animal traps and 2 dead cats that appeared to have been drowned in a tank of water on the property. Oh, that's fucked. Thressing is listed on a church website as pastor of St. Michael Church in West Memphis. WREG, that's the publication I'm reading from, reached out to the church on Tuesday. A representative said she was unaware of the allegations. West Memphis officials declined to release specifics of the case, citing an ongoing investigation. They said the investigation determined that local and state animal welfare laws had been violated. We all take matters of public concern seriously, especially those affecting the well-being of our animals in our community. Animal cruelty cases are a top priority, and we will always enforce the law to protect the animals in our care, said Kelly Facilo, West Memphis Animal Shelter Director, in a statement released by the city. Anyone with additional information is asked to contact the West Memphis Police. The update at the top says Thressing has been suspended by the Diocese of Little Rock pending the outcome of the case. We do have a photo here of a letter from the Bishop of Little Rock, from the Diocese of Little Rock. I'll read that to you because it's written by the Bishop. I guess it's a quote, and guess what that means? To the people of St. Michael Church and the school in West Memphis and Sacred Heart Church in Crawfordsville. As you know, on February 11th, your pastor, Father Charles Thressing, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of of aggravated cruelty to animals. The allegations are disturbing. As your bishop, I take them very seriously. At the same time, I also take seriously Father Thressing's right to due process and the presumption of innocence. Having heard from numerous voices from within the parish, the school, and the broader community, having consulted with others, and having given this matter much prayer and consideration, I can't do this much longer. I have determined that Father Thressing cannot continue serving as an effective pastor for your parishes. Thus, I have already communicated to him that he is supervised from functioning as your pastor and that his faculties are suspended pending the outcome of the criminal process. Can't do magic anymore, priest. Sorry. At the same time, I know that Father Thressing has many supporters, many many whose lives he has positively impacted. He is well loved by many for bringing them and their families closer to God. During this difficult time, I would ask every person of goodwill, Father Thressing supporters and detractors alike, to keep him, your parishes, your school in your prayers. I plan to celebrate the masses for you this weekend in West Memphis and Crawfordsville. I look forward to being present with and accompanying you during this difficult time. I am actively working on plans for the future of leadership of both your parishes. Sincerely in Christ, Anthony B. Taylor, Bishop of Little Rock. Yeah, it's hard to do that for a long time. There you go. Wow. Okay. So the priest, I don't know if this is a Catholic priest, but there is a silver lining here. I'm gonna make a Catholic priest joke. If you're not gonna like that, you're really not gonna like it. Maybe skip forward a minute. My joke is, right, that this could be like a good thing because, a couple of years ago, the priest was just molesting children and now he's killing cats. And maybe in a couple of years, he'll be like down to just like frying ants with a magnifying glass. And then in a few years after that, they won't be doing anything bad. That's a joke about priests being pedophiles. Again, the comedy of this episode, not so good. I think it's probably all the weed smoke coming from downstairs. We have time for one last story. This is a cute one. The California man has found a 125-pound animal under his home after the Los Angeles fires. It's a bear, and his name is Barry. Of course, the Los Angeles fire, something we didn't really mention much. It happened while I was on break, but yeah, I felt really sad for everyone in Los Angeles who lost their homes. It's something that as an Australian can relate to. We have bushfires all the time. In fact, I don't own multiple houses. One of the houses I was living in at the time was very close to a bushfire. So I do understand where this is coming from. Anyway, a 525-pound adult male black bear was found a home living under an Altadena, California home after the Eaton fire blazed through the city. Let's read this story. It seems like it's got a bit of a happy ending. Hopefully. I don't know. Maybe they shoot the bear at the end. A SoCal man returned home after evacuating last month's devastating Los Angeles wildfire to discover an unexpected resident lurking beneath it. Sami Arbid told CNN that he found a 525-pound adult male black bear living under his Altadena, California home after the Eaton fire blazed through the city. The fire scorched more than 14,000 acres and ranks among the state's top 3 most destructive wildfires. The bear, which survived the fire while living under Arbid's house, required out-of-the-box thinking for a wildlife team to safely lure him out. Barry, as local residents have taken to calling the bear, has been a recurring visitor in the neighborhood for quite some time, according to Arbid, who describes him as a mellow creature who generally minds his business. That's right, Sean Connery's still here. The only bears that live in California are black bears, according to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. And also, chubby homosexuals are also bears. There you go. If I was gay, I think I'd be a bear. I think it's too late. I can't be skinny enough to be a twink. I'm just going to be a bear. Arbid and his wife said that they were warned about bears in the area, but never expected such a close encounter. We had heard from neighbors that there's, this big bear. He comes around all the time, Arbid said last week. Nobody knew that the bear was actually living under our house, so that was a surprise to everyone. The couple discovered Barry as they began to hear noises under their home. They decided it was likely a small critter. However, what started as a few hisses and strange growls quickly turned into a shocking discovery. We thought it was probably an opossum or something, Arbid said. Oh, shit, sorry. We thought it was probably an opossum or something, Arbid said. Surely enough, we put a camera under there and we saw this huge bear. And then I slapped him. No, I'm sorry, he didn't say that. While other residents evacuated the Altadena area, it appears that the bear decided to hang back and take shelter under the home, seemingly unaffected by the fire. Arbid said a fish and wildlife biologist explained what may have prompted the bear to stay under the house, despite the flames and smoke. The smoke won't deter them, Arbid said. If they find a place they feel secure, nothing will deter them. SoCal Gas, a local gas and oil company, refused to service Arbid's home until the bear was no longer in the crawl space they were going to work in, Arbid said. Yeah, that's very fair. In all fairness, a bear wouldn't make the best co-worker. Oh, you guys. Until the bear could be removed, Arbit and his wife were unable to restore their power. Therefore, backup was needed to remove Barry in a timely manner. The CDFW had the daunting task of removing the giant bear from a relatively small space. CDFW employees were concerned about how Barry may react once he came out from beneath the home. The team had several cameras set up from various angles to monitor the bear's behavior during the removal process. Due to the animal's size, the wildfire team decided that using anesthesia to subdue the bear was not an option for removal, and the Fish and Wildlife Department said in a January 29th news release. I'm so sorry. Poor reading. I'm tired. Biologist Kevin Howells and a team of 8 wildlife employees spent nearly 24 hours attempting to remove Barry from the crawl space, according to a release. With some creative thinking and the help of a rotisserie chicken, the team successfully coaxed Barry into coming out of his bear cave. The team used a bear trap to safely secure Barry and begin the process of relocating him to an appropriate habitat. Barry received a welfare check and a GPS collar and was released into the Los Angeles National Forest, the agency reported. Well, that's a good story and it has a pretty happy ending. I also like how they're sitting there trying to think of how to get this bear out. They're really mulling it over. And their solution was just to get a rotisserie chicken. Like, is that not the first thing you thought of? That would work for me. That's a hint. If anyone needs me to get out of anywhere, just waft a rotisserie chicken my way and I'll be there. Dude, what we call them in Australia, we call it a bachelor's handbag. It's a rotisserie chicken you get from Coles or Woolies, and it is fantastic. Ooh, carve that up, bit of mayo, some white bread. Love that shit. Anyway, 5 stories today of differing levels of heartbreaking and cuteness. But that was the scratch of the day. All right. It's time for a new segment on the show, and likely this will be the only time we ever do it. I'm calling this segment Reading Comments on Spotify. So Spotify recently added the ability to add comments on podcast episodes on Spotify, and they never told me this was happening. I just realized by looking back. So people have left comments on the episodes of the show, some episodes of the show going back. Usually there's just 1 or 2 per episode, but I thought it would be fun to read the comments and, without the context of having just listened to the episode, try to remember or try to think about what they're actually possibly referring to. So I'm going to start with last week's episode. The episode was the tragedy of Siegfried and Roy, episode 120. There's a single comment there by TNSS Pold, and it just from 4 days ago says, "We eat lots of buffalo here in America." Quite random. But I think it's probably to do with the Man-Eater's Grid, and I probably said that we don't eat buffalo, but apparently in North America you do eat a lot of buffalo, at least according to this guy. Probably not as much as like beef or chicken. The week before, we talked about the Newcastle funnel web spider. A couple comments. First one says, "I'm starting at the first few episodes, so I'm not here yet." Thank you for the update. And another comment from a week ago says, "Yum episode, I enjoy." You're welcome. Yum episode. I love it. Week before that, the Chompy Awards. Oh, this was last year. North American as in what? ? USA, Canada? ? I have no idea what he's referring to. But yeah, North America is that. North America is in the USA, Canada, Mexico, Greenland soon, Panama, Gaza. Jesus, I don't know. Not going to get political. By the way, I'm going to tell you, I'm probably going to be less political than I was. More because I just am too sad about what's happening to talk about it. It just will bum me out too much. This is my escape, okay? And I'm sure there's people who are like, good, shut your fucking mouth. But there's also people I know who listen to the show who have enjoyed when I called Ted Cruz like a wet, soppy potato man. So like people like that. There's another comment on that same episode from 3 weeks ago from Jess, and it says, "Hi, I'm a Canadian living in Northern Ireland. Love your show and your North American accent that pops in." Aw, you're not going to like today's episode because the North American accent didn't feature. This one did instead. I'm from Scotland and I smack my wife in the lips. And she also says, "Congrats on your upcoming wedding." Thanks, Jess. Yeah, getting married in like 10 weeks. Boy, howdy. Sure hope She doesn't break up with me before then. Okay. No, I don't. Like, that sounds like I do want her to. I don't. Did an episode a while back called The Horror Story that inspired Moby Dick about the Essex sperm whale attack. Cool podcast. My first time listening and I enjoyed it. For real. Thank you. That was Shun B. Thank you for that comment, Shun B. The Ramrel and Croc, there's no comment here. It says be the first to leave a comment. I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to say the word Grumbo. Grumbo. Perfect. Okay, in review. I think they've already... It says you've already commented on this Oh, I have. Okay, I just did it then. This is a nice one from 2 months ago. The Manic Mountain Goat and the Death of Bob Boardman. I remember that episode. This person named Petey says, thank you for being so sensitive to animals and humans. Aw, that's a very sweet message. Thank you for that comment. Before that, we had the Gombe Chimpanzee War. There's one comment from Clint, and it just says, Trump won, smiley face. Oh no, I know what that one was about. I must have been talking shit about Trump and Kamala Obama. Yeah, okay, good for you, Clint. I'm happy that Trump won. No, I'm not. I'm devastated. The 2024 Q&A. Someone said, oh, this is a good one. I've already replied to this one. Someone asked, I wanted to ask if you would ever make an episode about Cecil the Lion. Great suggestion. Maybe next week. We'll do a few more of these. This one, oh, this is a good one. Pravin writes on the man-eating Mufawe lion episode. Awesome work you do. Keep it up. Found another clip of morons in India taming an obvious household... Found another clip of morons in India taming an obvious household disguised quote-unquote cat. I would love to connect if possible. I'm in the US, as I have lots of man-eater stories and more authentically translated Indian folklore tales and stuff. By the way, your Mufuwe story is one that Wayne Hosek snagged. Living in Africa for a while, I have some stories too. Wow, there you go. Thank you, Pravin. I will look into that. Maybe we should chat if you know a bit more context on those stories. Let's do a few more. I remember this episode. This was the death of Olga Moskliova. She was eaten by a bear. This comment says, cheers from Canada. Sensitively discussed. I like your science-based comments. Thank you. P.S. Bear spray. Always carry bear spray in bear country. Have it very handy. Not in your pack. Know how to use it. Practice using it. And keep on hiking. There you go. That's a great... RT and music? That's RT and music. Okay. Great comment. And great advice. I've never been in bear country. I want to, but I do not want to be eaten. Let's go down. We're way back now. I don't even know if any of these are going to have any more comments because I'm guessing that the comments weren't implemented. Oh, this one's got one. Rachel writes, this is from episode 107, Deadly American Shark Attacks Part 4. Great podcast. So glad I stumbled on this. Although they're not man-eaters, I'd love to hear about venomous snakes and spiders, etc. Yeah, great. You'll definitely find an episode of that I've done. Let's do 3 more comments. This is more of an ego boosting thing for me now, but I haven't read any of these ones this far back, so it's kind of nice. We are getting to the point where there are no comments. Oh, okay, here's one. This comment's very random. It says, gabapentin isn't a significant pain reliever. It's an anticonvulsant that mimics the natural neurotransmitter GABA, only effective for neurogenic pain, which can't be treated with opiates or NSAIDs. I don't know why that person has said that to me. Did I say gabapentin was... Oh! Our cat's on gabapentin. Now, the vet prescribed gabapentin for the cat to chill her the fuck out. But I must have said it was a pain reliever. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong about that. Okay, sorry. Sorry, Ren. Let's find one more comment. We're getting back there. This is like episode 102, episode 101. Maybe there are no more comments. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go back until I find one, but I'm pretty sure... Oh, here's one. This is the best comment yet. This is great. I love this. This is at episode 98, The Beasts of Nightmares, Kill Countdown Part 2. The Stooge, SSTOOGE, writes, so terrible. Worst podcast I've heard. I'm just going to reply really quickly. Agreed. Agreed. There you go. Nice. Should I find one more that's not mean to end off on? Should we end on a nicer note than that? It is pretty much the worst podcast. But I don't know how many podcasts he's listened to. Maybe he's only listened to mine. If that's the case, then it is definitely the worst, but it's also the best by definition. All right, I'm not finding any more. We're so far back. I don't think there's going to be any more comments. Let me just scroll really far back and find a random app and see if there's one there. No. Okay. I don't think I'm going to find any more. So we get to end on that really, really nice note. Next week, we're going to go back to doing the Beastly biographies. We used to do those like a couple years ago where we dive deep into the science and biology and talk about the stats of some of nature's most dangerous animals. As mentioned at the top of the episode, not doing the grid on this podcast anymore, but you can still do the Man-Eaters grid and watch along over on the Patreon, patreon.com/maneaters. It is just more of a visually entertaining game. But I have enjoyed doing it on the podcast. But I think that it's time to, episode 121, let's shake things up. We read new comments each week, particularly the ones that tell me I'm really bad. But yeah, that reminds me, everyone, if you can go to wherever you're listening to your podcast, if it's Spotify or Apple or I don't even know where else you could listen to it, and just give us a good rating. Or if it's really bad and you don't like it, give us a bad rating. Be honest, I don't care. But you do that. And that'll be it. I'd also love it if you could go to our Instagram, which is I'm just going to find the tag right now. Yeah, at Man-Eaters Podcast. And that way you can also follow us there, because we don't have very many followers and I want some. So yeah, go to at Man-Eaters Podcast or at Jimothy Chaps. That's also my Instagram. There is a website, www.maneaterspod.com. You can get yourself some nice little merch there. And yeah, again, Patreon exists if you'd like to help us out. Really appreciate that. Have a fantastic week, guys. I've really enjoyed recording this episode. Maybe it's the contact high from the neighbor downstairs, or maybe I just missed you. Have a fantastic week. I'll be back next time with a brand new episode. Enjoy your time. I love your faces, and please stay safe, because as we've learned, it's a jungle out there. Moo. I'll slap you silly. Come up with another name or another celebrity you want me to do an impression of for all the Scratch of the Days next week. We're going to retire Sean Connery for now. Maybe it'll be Obama. Let me be clear. Priest drowned a cat. Terrible. Not as good as Connery. We'll work it out. Bye.